During the brutal winters and endless rains of World War II, one of the most overlooked but vital challenges soldiers faced wasn't enemy fire. It was shelter. Mud, flooding and freezing wind could break a fighting force as surely as bullets could. Yet, in the midst of these conditions, an unlikely innovation appeared on the front lines: the canvas tunnel. Built from discarded tent fabric, field tarpaulins and sections of salvaged piping or timber, these makeshift tunnels became the backbone of survival for troops who had to endure bombardments and weather alike. What's remarkable is that many of these field-engineered tunnels held strong through storms that tore apart standard army tents. They were a triumph of practical ingenuity, born from necessity and refined by experience. The canvas tunnel originated not from a single army directive, but from the shared struggle of soldiers trying to stay alive in impossible conditions. In the early years of the war, especially on the eastern and western fronts, rain and sleet turned trenches into rivers. Canvas, being lightweight and waterproof when treated, was everywhere, used for tents, supply covers and truck tarps. Soldiers realized that if they dug low, reinforced the walls with timber or metal scraps, and stretched canvas overhead, they could create a semi-subterranean tunnel that kept out water and wind far better than open trenches or canvas tents. The secret to their durability lay in tension and layering. Troops would first dig shallow trenches, usually waist-deep, and line the sides with wooden planks, logs, or even discarded ammunition boxes. The roof was then arched with poles, sometimes sections of curved conduit, sometimes bent saplings. Over that frame, multiple layers of canvas were stretched tightly, with seams overlapped and tied down using rope, wire, or even stripped telephone cable. To waterproof it further, they coated the top with a mix of wax, tar, or grease, whatever field materials were available. This multi-layer approach allowed the tunnel to shed rain instead of absorbing it, and when wind came, the tensioned fabric flexed instead of tearing. The field tents issued to most armies were quick to deploy, but notoriously unreliable in sustained storms. Canvas tunnels, by contrast, combined the stability of a dugout with the weatherproofing of a covered shelter. Their curved profile helped deflect both wind and shrapnel, while their low height kept them hidden from aerial reconnaissance. When rain poured for days on end, tents collapsed under their own weight or flooded from the bottom. The tunnels, buried halfway into the ground, stayed drier and warmer. Soldiers quickly discovered that by venting the ends with small gaps or improvised chimneys, the tunnels could even be heated. A small stove made from a fuel can or artillery casing could keep the interior habitable without filling it with smoke. This was especially critical on the Eastern Front, where temperatures regularly plunged below freezing. The design kept the warmth trapped and the wind out, an essential advantage when men were expected to fight again the next morning. Reports from Allied engineers in Italy and France later described seeing entire encampments built from these low-profile shelters. The design required no special materials, just knowledge, effort, and teamwork. And unlike tents, which could blow away in a gale, these tunnels anchored themselves to the earth. The more it rained, the firmer the mud seal became. As the war progressed, soldiers refined the design with whatever field experience taught them. Some added drainage trenches along the sides to divert runoff. Others used sandbags as both insulation and reinforcement, creating a layered barrier that kept the interior bone dry even in heavy downpours. When supply chains allowed, they applied linseed oil or fuel grease to the outer canvas for added waterproofing. In certain areas, particularly in North Africa, troops adapted the same principles to cope with sand and heat rather than rain. There, the canvas tunnels were built half-buried with openings at both ends, creating a cooling airflow. The flexibility of the design was what made it brilliant. It could withstand nearly any climate, with a few adjustments. The Germans were known for their efficient field engineering, but even Allied troops often remarked that local resistance fighters in France and Yugoslavia built superior shelters. These partisans, often working with little more than scavenged material, would create long interconnected tunnels using overlapping tarps, allowing movement between storage, sleeping and command areas without exposure. Some of these were reinforced with chicken wire or tree branches and reportedly survived both shelling and heavy rainstorms for months without collapse. For modern survivalists and outdoor enthusiasts, the canvas tunnel offers timeless lessons in resilience and design. Its principles, low profile, flexible structure, layered waterproofing and proper drainage, are the same used in modern military and expedition shelters. To apply it, practically start with a shallow trench about 2 feet deep and as long as you need for your group. Reinforce the sides with logs or any solid material you can find. Then use a flexible support structure like PVC pipe or bent branches to create an arch. Once you have the frame, stretch a tarp or treated canvas tightly across it, securing the edges firmly into the ground. Add a second layer on top, if you have it, overlapping seams like shingles to ensure water runs off. Coat any exposed areas with wax, animal fat or oil to boost water resistance. The key to longevity is in proper tension and ventilation, tight enough to resist pooling, but not so rigid it tears under pressure. In wet conditions, add shallow side channels to direct runoff away from the structure. In cold conditions, pack mud or leaves against the sides to insulate. If you're working in desert heat, elevate one side slightly higher than the other to encourage airflow. What makes this system so useful is that it's scalable. A single-person tunnel can be built in hours, and a multi-section shelter can serve as a long-term hideout. For reenactors and educators, building one of these tunnels as part of a living history display offers a tangible way to understand the day-to-day survival ingenuity of WWII soldiers. Standing inside one gives you an appreciation for the combination of simplicity and necessity that drove wartime innovation. The WWII's canvas tunnel isn't just a relic of fieldcraft, it's a story of human persistence. It represents a moment when ordinary soldiers, soaked and exhausted, took the tools around them and built something that could endure both nature and war. It's easy to overlook these small innovations when we talk about the grand machinery of the conflict, but for those who lived it, these small shelters meant everything. They outlasted storms, resisted bombardments, and kept men alive long enough to see the next sunrise. In every sense, they were more than shelters. They were symbols of defiance against both the elements and despair itself. If you enjoyed uncovering this piece of forgotten wartime ingenuity, make sure to subscribe to In the Beginning and share this video with fellow history enthusiasts. Every share helps keep these stories alive, reminding us that survival in any era begins with human creativity and the will to endure.